Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Hunt Lift Eat podcast brought to you by Hunt Lift Eat Official. Mr. Face for Radio, Carter McKenzie, is here hosting this week with a reoccurring co-host this week, old Justin Eberly. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, I'm good. This back-to-back stuff is exciting.
It is. We're getting pretty good at this, maybe. Probably
Hey,
not.
man, we clicked the link and we're here. So that's a start.
That's right. Hey, is it inappropriate to start off with a call to action, Justin?
Of course not. What would you like to call to action?
I would like to call listeners to action. If you want to come check this out and see our handsome faces, go follow us on YouTube. Hunt Lift Eat on YouTube. We're on the YouTubes now. So go check us out. We're trying to pump those subscriber numbers and drive some engagement over there. And we got shorts, and we post all of our all of our podcast videos on YouTube. And we have a lot of hunts that we've been filming that are going to be releasing over the next couple weeks. So check it out. That's your call to action. If you like what we do, and we appreciate our listeners, and it's another way to check out the podcast and watch it instead of just listening to it. So if you appreciate what we do, we'd sure appreciate everybody going to drop a follow over there.
Plus, there's a great new short up there of you and Luke, and I can't tell if you're saying big butts or big buck. I'm not sure, man.
It could be either one, man. Could be either one. Yeah, that's the call to action.
I like it.
A little shameless plug right there. All right, cool. Let's jump into it, man. I'm ready.
You ready? Well, who do we have on today?
Who's we got our esteemed guest this week, Armando Martinez, the man from BowHitch, the inventor of BowHitch. So, Armando, welcome to the podcast, man.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Happy to be here. And fortunately for you, I'm another face for radio. So let's do this.
That's why we have to be on YouTube, so everybody can see who we really are.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. People say some mean shit on YouTube. I'm not going to read the comments. People are going to be like,
dude, I literally just put, because we hadn't had any YouTube shorts. And so I was listening to a deal on Gary Vaynerchuk, and it's the 3 things you need to be doing, like, for sure. And so I was like, well, shit, I might as well do some. I'm already on Instagram and, Facebook and trying to do the TikTok and all that. So I posted a couple that I had already posted on TikTok and on Instagram and on with other stuff, right? And sure enough, today I'm going through and cleaning up my email, and I see all these comments. And so, well, yeah, so don't read them. It's hilarious. One of them,
there's some keyboard warriors over there.
Some warriors, dude. It's hilarious. One of them says, great video, except for I can't hear you because all the wind noise. And then it's like ... But that's a cool sling. And so I was like, bro, just why do you got to go there? Just it's going to be a slippery slope. So just,
man, you got to identify someone on your team that's witty, and that's their job, is just to sit there and play that game.
Yeah,
it's all interactive.
Full-time job. When we can afford that guy, I'll hire that guy.
We got a couple over here for you.
Okay.
Yeah, no kidding. My favorites are like on TikTok. People say some mean shit, and I like to invite them on the podcast. Like, dude, call them out that way. Like, don't fire back and be like, F you, asshole, or whatever. But like, dude, come on, let's talk about it, right? I've done 10 million of these podcasts, and I'll talk to anybody about anything. If you're into hunting and fitness, we might have something in common. You're just an asshole, so
yeah.
Come on, let's talk about it.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. I love it. It.
Well, cool, dude. Stoked to have you on here, Armando, and meet you kind of face to face, man. Big fan of what you're doing and what you're creating. I want to get into your background and your relationship with the outdoors and that kind of stuff. But why don't you tell us about your super awesome product real quick, and then we'll dive back into it a little later.
Sure. So our product is the BowHitch, and our business name is simply Savage Solutions, which is the way we started our business. We had a business name, the LLC, and all the deal that you got to do to open up a banking account. And at the time, we only had the one product, which is the BowHitch. So the BowHitch is something that we invented. It's just another way to carry your bow. It's an efficient way to carry your bow that keeps you hunting. So we say we're for hunting and not hiking. So when you want to kill shit, you use the BowHitch. If you want to transport it from A to B, it doesn't really matter. Use whatever you're comfortable with. But so when we started, we had the business name was Simply Savage Solutions, and we had one product, and we didn't even have a name for the product. So we just had to go by the business name, and we literally had Simply Savage Solutions was on our little bag toppers, and finally a buddy of mine came up with the phrase the BowHitch, and he said, I was driving down the road, and he tells me, well, how's that thing you got? He's an old cowboy. I'm like, I don't know, it's pretty good, like it's cool. And he's like, well, what is it called? And I said, man, we don't have a name. And so he's like, well, what does it do? And I'm like, well, I don't do. You just connect it to your bow, and then you hitch it to your backpack. And he's like, we'll call it a bow hitch. So I was like, shit. I was like, dude, I gotta go. I gotta call my partner and tell him we got a name. And so the bow hitch started. So then, since we only had one product, we were like, well, shit, we're just gonna go by the bow hitch because we can't say we're Simply Savage Solutions, the inventors of the bow hitch, when nobody knows what a bow hitch is. So it's crazy, dude. So the bow hitch starts gaining a little bit of traction. People recognize us as the bow hitch guys. There's a bow hitch booth, whatever, a little bit of brand recognition. And so now that we're expanding into the firearms, crossbow, tripod market, like a different market, we have to go back to our Simply Savage Solutions name, which is crazy because we find, as soon as we get a little bit of traction, I would call it, with the bow hitch, it's we're on to the next thing. And it's crazy, but long way of saying, we invented a really cool way to carry your bow that we just received our patent on middle of November. We got a call from our patent attorney and said, hey man, I can't believe it, but this shit came back, and like we don't even have to fight it. Like they approved all of what you guys wanted, and it's amazing. So um, that's that's kind of how we got started in the outdoor deal, and kind of what our business started with is the one product called the bow hitch.
And it was because carrying your bow sucks.
Because carrying your bow sucks, dude. And that phrase works for all of our stuff. So now our rifle, muzzleloader, crossbow, tripod, like carrying all your shit sucks. Like everything we carry in life has some sort of a strap or a contraption to carry it by to make it easier. And so we're fortunate enough to kind of make something for everybody in the outdoors.
That's awesome. Prior to this, man, would you have ever considered yourself like an inventor? That's like a pretty cool word.
Dude, it's crazy to even think about. No, because I can't draw. I can't sign my name the same way twice. Like, I can't sing. Like, I'm so ungifted. It's out of control. Like, to have the career that I've had and to do the things I've done is like an anomaly. Like, you look at me and be like, there's no way that dude, accomplished these things, because it's just funny. So no, I never thought to, I never, you don't think like I'm going to be an inventor. But the crazy thing is now, and I think Justin can attest to this, is once you've done it, like it's a fire you cannot put out. Like in being a fireman, like to be able to say that, you're like, dude, we'll put it out. Like eventually I'm gonna put it out. But I look at shit just totally different, and I'm like, there's a way, like this is kind of shitty. Like give me a little while and I'll fix it. Like, so I don't know if I'm getting too big for my britches or what, but I think there's always a way to improve upon something. So it's it is crazy to say, I'm an inventor. Like I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an inventor, I'm a whatever catchphrase you want to put to it. It's pretty cool.
I've gotten the privilege to know you, get to know you over like what last maybe 6, 7, 8 months or whatever.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
I'm going to tell you, it's not an anomaly, man. Good things happen to good people, and you guys do great things outside of make an awesome couple of products. Like you got the give back going right now, right? And you've been doing that for a while. It's things like that, man, that set you apart, right? People are supporting you not only because you came up with a great product and it's got a cool name now, very redneck way of getting it, but that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys do incredible things to surround the products with a great story. So like, I don't want to get off this podcast without talking about what's happening literally right now this month, right? Your acts of kindness.
Yeah,
So
dude.
talk
Yeah.
about that real quick.
Thank you. my partner and I, Doug and I are both, I've retired, but he's still an active duty firefighter with Albuquerque Fire Department. So both of us grew up in that world. It's crazy because we both grew up down in the South Valley of Albuquerque, which is, a little bit of a, historically a rougher area. Like just, our parents worked their asses off and just standard, every day. Like we're not gifted, we're not held back, we're not like we're just your everyday people that both of us chose a career to help people. Like, and that was, I didn't know it was a calling, and I didn't know I would be great at it. Like, and I didn't know, like, God puts us where He wants us, where He needs us really, and we're a tool for the job that He's doing. And so I was fortunate enough to, to get that call and to be able to answer it. And so for 20 years, I served in the fire service of just doing, you just do what you got to do, just like you guys, you went to do the job you were called to do, and you perform it, and you don't really think about it, you know. Um, it's a job, and it's like, hey, well, cool, this is what I have to do, and these are my roles and responsibilities. These are the talents I've been given, and the way they want me to utilize, these talents, and that's your call to action, and you do it. And then it's just crazy now for me to be retired to actually think about it. It's really neat, and it's, sometimes it's like that was some cool shit. Like fuck, like we did some amazing things, and saw some crazy things. Not all of them great, not all of them end the way like you're not gonna put all of them in a book, but they're still all a piece of the puzzle. And to be able to go through that and come out of it, and to know like that you can make a difference, and just us being genuine, like, hey, I'm not a model, like I get it. Will I take a picture with my hat and my shirt and try to sell it? Yeah, cool. Like I am who I am, and I'm totally good with that, which I think is a big draw to us. And it's kind of crazy that I get so many compliments on it. They're like, dude, I love the way you just get on there and go, like, and you'll fuck something up, and it just
Just keep
it's not a fuck up. It's just, like, hey, you changed your, train of thought, or you lost your, like, you're a human being. So that's been a big part of, I think, why you complimented me. And I think us just being genuine, and, being in the fire service, like you were, if you make one, like, and same thing with the military, do not fuck up, right? Like, because somebody will call it out and exploit it at the worst time, on your worst day, on like it's just the way it is. And so for us, I think being able to accept that and appreciate it, and then to be able to recognize that when other people are going through it, is a special talent, I would call it. Like, hey, this dude's having a bad day, man. Let's change that for him. Like, people need some extra love, some extra motivation. Like, sometimes you could feel what people need even though you can't say it, you know? And so for us, just by going out and trying to give people the opportunity to do good, like, it's kind of just takes care of itself, man. Like, I'm happy to be doing our random acts of kindness, because it gives people the opportunity to do something cool, when for whatever reason, maybe before they didn't even think about it. But, if an access deer hunt on the island of Maui is what it takes for you to do something cool for somebody, then so be it. Like, we'll carry that torch.
incentivize the good, however you.
Incentivize, yeah. So it's all good, dude. But yeah.
I
So
think
right now, yeah, random acts of kindness.
it's cool, man, because that's like central to who you guys are, and it's something we believe in over here at HLE. Like, it's one of our top tier core values, and that's authenticity, man.
Mm.
And I think that's what's coming through with the random acts of kindness. So I don't want to derail that, right? So why don't you tell us a little bit more about what's going on right now and what you did in the past with that?
Sure. So random acts of kindness is just that, a simple random act of kindness that you do for somebody else. That's, it's just it's a random act of kindness. It doesn't have to, it could be somebody, it could be your kid, it could be your mom, your wife, a stranger. It really doesn't matter. Like, we had a comment posted earlier where this lady said she went through and cleaned up an entire park of the trash because a lot of people use it. Like, that's an act of kindness to 100 people, so we're not picky on what it is. Like, if you feel that it was a good thing that you did, and you did it from your heart, then we accept this random act of kindness as a, as per at face value. But what we're doing is we're asking people to do any random act of kindness for somebody, comment in it in our post on our Instagram or Facebook page, and that will get you entered in to win one of, we're going to be at like 40 prizes right now, so it's insane. But the top prize is an access deer hunt in Maui that was given to me to give away as a random act of kindness to help me succeed. He gave it to me last year, and I was like blown away. He tried giving it to me 2 years ago, and I was like, dude, I only have a week left of this giveaway. It's not that big right now. Like, I don't want to accept this big of a gift and you not get any value in return out of it. So wait till next year. That'll be our headliner, and it's going to help me tremendously. And I know that's what you wanted to do. And so that's what we did. So last year was our first, this is our third year. Last year was our first year with the Access Deer Hunt, and it's just growing and growing, dude. So now I have, an elk bros donated a cow elk hunt fully guided. Like, dude, I have so many prizes, it's insane. So, um, just good people wanting to do good, and that's our community. That's you guys. That's the people you surround yourself with. And I love the way you vet people, like, because people want to just be on the podcast or just want to be associated for a couple of likes or follows or name recognition or whatever. But I appreciate the fact that you guys do vet people, and that, like, when I met Luke, like, he legit came and was filling me out, like, we shook hands and all that stuff, but no, like, kind of, being in the real world, like, like, I know when not an interview is happening, but I've interrogated enough people to where, like, you know, it was a great conversation, and I'm glad to have done it. But I totally appreciate the fact that he came up and did it. Like, he wanted to feel comfortable with us and what we were doing, and I'm glad, he did, and he liked it, and you guys like, what we're doing, because um, that's just who we are. So I don't know how I got off track again there, but I appreciate you guys for doing that, and welcoming us into your community, which in turn brought you into ours with the Random Acts of Kindness. So thank you guys for that.
That's outstanding, man. I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, dude, it's so cool. It's so cool. My brother, who's doesn't have extra money to be doing stuff, was just getting into hunting, and he came across a good deal on a spotting scope, and he bought it for me and gave it to me, and said, "Hey, bro, this is yours to do whatever you want to with it. Sell it, raffle it, get follows for your business. Like, I don't know what you need to do with it, but whatever you can do to make this benefit you, do it."
Yeah.
And so that's how I started the Random Acts of Kindness, man. That was my first gift, and I held on to it for 3-4 months, a couple months, and finally in January I said, we're going to start the year off right, and this is what we're going to do every year, is get people in the right mindset and get the year started off right. So
It's awesome. So we need to do a CTA, another shameless plug. So if this is running right now, everybody needs to get over on that Instagram, the BowHitch on Instagram, right? We'll make sure we get that in the show notes and everything too. But this runs through all January, correct?
oh yeah, the entire month of January. So you could do it, what the last day of January, whatever that number is. Do your random act of kindness. You just got to enter the comment in. Um, our in our bio, there's a Gleam IO address. It's a website that you have to go to follow up on the entry, and so it's a simple thing to do, but it has to get done in order for me to choose you as a winner, because that's what puts you in our wheel of winners. So once you do your first random act of kindness, there's about another 21 right now other entries that you can get in to give yourself 20 entries into winning all these prizes. So yeah, very simple. If you want to get in, do one thing. It's a random act of kindness. If you want to get yourself extra entries, you can do so by following the directions on that Gleam.io website.
Awesome.
Everybody wins. That's the best.
Dude, yeah, I'm not kidding. I was crying last year reading some of the comments. Like, even this year, it's just cool to what effect, it comes down to later, like the ripple effect. You don't know what it's going to end and how it might, save the little fish and put it out of the water, like what, you just never know what it's gonna do for somebody. So it's really, really cool.
It's awesome, man. Well, I know we're stoked to be a part of it, and even more stoked just to have you a part of the community and be able to have this back and forth, man. Because in the last 6 months, you and I've had a fair amount of conversations.
No
So
doubt.
it's cool to see everything kind of come full circle, like you were talking about, man, from the get go to where you're at now to where you're headed. So like back on the business side, you mentioned the bow hitch, but you got a rifle sling too, right?
Yeah, so our new sling is called the solution. And so carrying your rifle is the problem. We have created the solution. So that's kind of how we got that name. The cool thing about this product is it can work with a crossbow. So the biggest thing, we were at the ATA last year and we had so many people come up to us and ask us, dude, do you have something for the crossbow? Carrying the crossbow sucks. It's heavy, it's awkward, it's cumbersome, like just so many reasons. So we're like, well, we don't, but we'll figure something out. We're working on it, right? Which is the phrase I think of it. Justin will know when somebody brings something up. You say, "Yeah, we're actually working on something just like that." So
Yep.
it's
Exactly.
it's funny you
And,
mentioned that. We're working on something just like that.
and we filed a patent for it already. Don't
Yeah,
worry about
yeah, we have it. We're just waiting on the official word to come back from the patent office. So it's so anyway, we have our new solution. It's just cool how it works because it's very unconventional. The rifle or muzzleloader or shotgun or crossbow, whatever it is, it rides upside down. It attaches to your backpack just the way the bow hitch does, but you can come up directly to a shooting position without ever removing your weapon from your shoulder or from the sling itself. So totally unique. It's the hard part about the solution is that nobody understands the concept because nobody has ever built it, which is the exact same thing we went through with the bow hitch, is that nobody understood the bow hitch until they saw it because there's never been anything like it. So, for you guys who are listening right now, like it's going to be hard for you to understand. So the best thing you can do is just watch a YouTube video or go to our Instagram page and check it out, to see how it works. Because once you see it, or you hear a review, or you see somebody reviewing it, you're like, oh shit, like that's pretty cool. Like I never thought of it to be used like that, but it just works. So we have the solution, which is our weapon carrying system, and then the other product that we came out with is a tripod carrying system, which is just for that, carrying your tripod. I've guided for several years. I carry this big ass tripod for the hunters. That way, they have a very stable platform, either for that or if I'm hunting for myself, I carry my glassing tripod. And it just is a way to carry your tripod. It can be fully extended. You just pick it up, pop the legs out, and you're good to go. So between guiding and going to the different, mountain archery fests and TAC and all the different hike to hunts and all these shows, what you see now is three guys or two guys with a bow, and then one or two guys following them with cameras and camera equipment and all this stuff. So we saw the need for a huge market. Self-filming, you guys are talking about putting your hunts out there. Like you're carrying tripods, you're carrying a bunch of shit that is awkward and cumbersome. Like to be able to free up your hand anytime you want it, like is a pretty nice thing to do. So that's another market that we went after with the tripod carrying system, and it's just called the tripod sling.
Nice. It's the aha moment, dude, that everybody gets with it, right? Because remember when we met, I'm a total rookie, and I just gotten a bow, and Carter knows I was out shooting foam like 24/7, man. And I
Yeah.
found real quick in about 3 weeks that carrying your bow sucks, and that's I called you back and I said, I get it now, man, and I'm only
Yeah.
3 into this, so
Yeah.
it's a great solution, man. Like you guys are on it. I dig it.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, having your hands free for anything you're doing outdoors is the best, right? Um, well, whatever you're carrying, like you just mentioned a litany of things that you can free up with your product, man. But having your hands free is everything. And I've heard you talk about it before, but um, having it right there with the easy accessibility, especially when you're stalking through the woods or in the backcountry in the mountains, right? I'm an East Coast, southern whitetail hunter, and you and I probably do things a little differently, but animals are animals, man. And having that that bow right there, man, that's pivotal.
Yeah, you know something I didn't mention. We have a sling called the 2A bow sling. So you guys will recognize a single point sling, for your AR, your M4. So we adapted the M4 sling to work with the bow hitch. So you can just carry a simple strap going across your body, hook in the bow hitch, and it hangs right at your side. So we didn't at the time when Doug and I started this business, we were thinking we're going to be Mississippi West. We're going to, cater to New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Idaho, a little bit, Colorado, Montana. That's going to be our market for the majority of hunters. Dude, when we went to the ATA, like so many whitetail hunters were like, dude, what is this? I need this. I have to walk like 400 yards into my stand. I'm like, oh my God, poor dude. Like, let me give you a bow hitch, So it's
You
just
need
crazy.
this.
It's you need this, but how many people that and it's just foreign. Like I've never been in a tree, not one time in my life. So to hear them say I'm walking from point A to point B where I park my quad or my truck or whatever it is, and I miss a ton of opportunities because I put my bow in my backpack or I sling it just in that short distance. For them to say, dude, I will use this all the time because I miss so many opportunities on the way in when I'm not really expecting to have these opportunities. So, yeah, the whitetail market, we'd had no idea that we'd be dipping into it, but the bow hitch works obviously on the way in hiking in, but the single point sling is what I wanted to talk to you about if you're a whitetail hunter. If you're up in a saddle, which I had no idea what a saddle was, like, I mean, I've obviously never been in a saddle. I've never been in a tree, but I've seen some guys and I've given the bow hitch to and the single point to some guys who have used it. And they're like, dude, WTF, like this thing is sick, because it sits at your side. So you just, it's like your duty weapon. It's always at your strong side. Like when you need to come up and shoot, it's always right there. So same thing if you're using the bow hitch with the single point sling, it's always in your support hand, ready to come up so you can draw back with. And that's important when you're in a tree, especially saddle hunting, as you pivot around this tree. And I can only tell from watching it on TV, but you're pivoting around this tree and then you see these guys as the buck's coming through painfully reach up and they're like, fuck, how slow could I go, and they're trying to reach up and pull their bow off of the hook or the limb or whatever it's hanging on and then get to their strong hand and come back and shoot. Well, with the bow hitch, it's always on your side. All you have to do is come up and your arrow's already knocked and you draw back and shoot. So like it was really cool to know that once we figure out how to market, which is this one little thing that we really suck at, that we have a lot of green to hit on this fairway.
I wouldn't say you suck at marketing, man. Like, I've been following you pretty hard for 6 months now, and I think you guys got it. I think it's the shows and syncing up with these communities and the kind of support you're getting, and then surrounding it with like the stuff we talked about. Man, you guys are
Yeah,
doing all the right things, man.
yeah, I appreciate it. I take to heart everything that we talk about. Justin, especially here, man. Like those conversations that we've had where you've just given me your time and expertise and knowledge, like mean the world to me and have helped us tremendously. Like, and it's and as you know, it takes time to see the returns on the little things that are happening, but they're not wasted upon me, is what I want you to understand. Like, you might be like, motherfucker, dude, I already told you, like, you need to do XYZ. Like, they're happening. It's just they're about some slow motherfuckers, dude. Like, it's gonna happen. It's just gonna take a little while. So,
Yeah, I
it,
saw the websites up, right? That
yeah,
took how long? I mean, that was like
yeah,
5 month turn.
yeah. It's coming. It's coming.
It's looking good, dude.
So,
What do you think's been the most challenging part of all this, Armando? Coming from the background you came from, and we're talking now. We're talking inventor, entrepreneur, marketing, like all this shit. Like I'm a school teacher during the day, right? Like that's all shit I don't know anything about either. What's been the most challenging part?
um, for me, I believe the most challenging part has been like the family aspect,
Mm.
just because, and you hear it from everybody, and it's insane. Like most entrepreneurs and most small business owners have the same struggles, and this is definitely one of them. Especially, I call it kind of the ugly baby syndrome, right? Like you have an ugly ass kid, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's cute," like, "Oh, she's pretty," and and you're like, "That's about an ugly ass kid." Like, don't lie to me. So, like, this is my baby, and I think it's beautiful, but to expect everybody else to see that, like, and I'm speaking just, in my family, that has been a hard part. Is like, dude, I see it, I know it's there, like the potential's there, like everything about it is a winner. Um, until we make a mistake. Like everything about it is a winner, 100% of the way. So it's up to me. Like, so the hard part is like the pressure on yourself when you have a winning lottery ticket, you got to drive back to cash this bitch in, and it's a snowstorm on a cliff, like, and it's windy, and you don't have lights, and your tires are bald, like all these things. Like you just have to make it there, and you have to figure it out. How you're gonna get there, I don't know, but you need to get there, and when you do, you can cash this check. But so that's been a difficult part for me because you're pulling so much time from your family in a billion different ways, in working on the house, making sure the cars are up to speed, like making sure the yard is like, they want to come home and play in the yard, and like you come home and you're not an asshole every day, which is one of my major, hurdles. So juggling that, and like I retired last year, so at the beginning it was, you know, just us on the side, our parent, not our parents, our wives were good with, oh, cool, here's a little bit of play money, like try and figure it out, whatever. But we never dipped into savings. We never invested a whole lot of money. When we started, it was, like our first order of bow hitches was 50 bow hitches, you know, and we were like, bro, like we're gonna have to each come in with like, X amount of dollars. It's like shit, like all right, well, here we go again, and so it was that starting off, which is it's crazy to think about now. But I going from that, every day, and just how far do you take it, and then not on top of that, then it's time, and this money's not probably coming back anytime soon, and it's energy, and it's just the dedication that you have to put to it. You have to stay relevant. And so I guess the hard part is the pressure, probably number one, that I put on myself, because I know it's a winner, and I know, that like it's just a really hard, fine line. Like, where do you juggle it, and what's acceptable? What are you willing to accept as a father, as a husband, as an entrepreneur? Like, you have to make these decisions and live with them and be like, hey, fuck it. This weekend, I'm turning my phone off. I'm not going to answer anything. Like, I was just in Phoenix for a volleyball tournament, and I was locked in. Like, we were watching volleyball. That's what we were doing, and this is our biggest time of the year with the giveaway. But, you know, you got to be present. And it's just really, it's just really hard to navigate those waters. So for me, being I wouldn't say I'm I don't know, a pleaser. Like, I'm not a yes man, or like, let's do everything you want to do, but I never intentionally want to make anybody have a bad day, or do something that I know this is going to negatively affect, my family or my friends or my business. Like, there's got to be a way to do the majority of things that we want to do. So navigating those waters is really difficult.
Well, we had that call right before Christmas, right? And the number one thing I was preaching was, you got, like you said, the winning lotto ticket. Patience, man.
Patience, yeah.
Right. And that's the hardest thing when you're an entrepreneur, is patience. We know that over here. I know that from my past. You want to do everything 24/7, 100%, 110%, foot on the gas pedal. But patience is the win, dude. And setting up that plan, because that also protects you, from those things you're talking about, right? Where you're trying to balance the work life and the family. And, it's about patience and planning. And most of us who are wired and become entrepreneurs or are born that way, patience is not our strong suit, man.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. And the hard part for me, like, is the planning part and sticking with it. And you know this as well as I do from us trying to do the vision board. And, you get two people who are terrible planners and who are, extremely busy to try to sit down and go over something for, 2, 3 hours is, you know,
Big hat.
it hasn't been made a priority, which is definitely something that's slowing us down. Like the good thing is we're pretty aligned and headed in the right direction, thus far. So as we start to grow and things get a little more involved, but we'll see where that goes. But the planning is hard, and being giving yourself a little bit of grace is hard to do, man. Just because we're fixers, like fathers, dads, husband, men in general. Like that's what we do, man. You're like, hey, Justin's having a bad day. Like, hey, Carter, I'm on my way, man. I'm gonna pick you up, and I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're doing something. All right, come get me. Like, it's just the way we function, and that's the cool thing about us. Like, when you have a tribe, as you call it, like our community is like, it's a no-brainer. Like, hey, I meet you guys up in Durango, and you're like, dude, somebody's wife's truck blew a tire at wherever. Well, I'm 2 hours away, bro. Tell her I'm on my way. Don't get out of the car. Like, it's what we do. So that makes it hard owning a business, is that you think you can do everything, and I struggle with that. Like, bro, just give me a couple hours, I'll knock out. And I appreciate you telling me, Justin. Because I was like, I'll knock out this website. It might be shit, but I'll figure it out and I'll get it. And you're like, dude, pump the brakes, get through Christmas, get through your busy time, do it and do it right. It'll come. You're ready. The website's up. You can improve it later. Like, that was huge for me to hear that, because I was really on pins and needles about getting it done and telling people that we got our patent in January and letting everybody know that we're going back to Simply Savage Solutions on the new website. Like, there's a billion things that we have to do that there's not time to do. So, yeah, I have no idea if that answered your question, but
Oh
I
yeah.
think people catch a glimpse into the realities of
What it
business
takes.
ownership and maintaining uh, a family. And like, fortunately for me, my first career was done, so I have you know that ace in the hole there. But just figuring out like what's next, that's been a transition for me. A huge transition, going from 20 years in the fire service to coming out to the real world, where it's a different freaking beast.
Well,
um
you picked a sweet industry, dude. Like that's the good part. I mean, we talk about all the hard stuff, right? The business, the sacrifice, the struggle, the battle, all that good stuff, right? But when I go on your Instagram, man, and I just see all these giant animals, I'm thinking you picked a good outlet.
Yeah, yeah, we fortunately, yeah, like our community, and I think, you guys call it your tribe, and I kind of want to think for the BowHitch, like our ecosystem, like what is created here and who's coming in, and like we get a little bit of storms, we get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it all just works, and we need one another to make it all work. And so some of us kill small shit, some of us kill big shit, some of us eat tag soup. Like this year, I'm tired of tag soup, dude. Tired of it. I had good tags and they still taste like shit. Like, it's a difficult, pill to swallow. And but our ecosystem just works because there's some first timers that are like, I had the best year of my life and I just want to bring somebody else hunting. And oh man, I started working out last year. The guy who won our first form packet last year has become an animal, and his entire family has transformed their lives, dude. They're, just going to the gym every day. They're meal prepping. He's eating right. Um, it's his entire family who's coming together, and his entry in for his son on behalf of his son was, hey man, we got a phone call. This guy who knew a guy called and said he shot an oryx and wasn't able to go in and get it. So this dude gets a phone call. He asks his two sons, they're like, give us 2 minutes. So they went and packed out this dude oryx for him, because they're in peak physical shape. They're ready to do it and they're willing to do it, which is just freaking cool. So yeah, our community is great, and I'm honored to have you guys as a part of it.
It's a massive part of the entire process, man. And it all ties back in. Everything from random acts of kindness to creating your own product to meeting all these people at these expos. And we believe firmly that high tides raise all ships, and working with like-minded individuals, and especially in the industry that they're in that we're in, there's enough room for everybody at the table, man. Not everybody sees that, and not everybody acts like that, but it's the truth. There's enough room for everybody, man. And if you walk around with a chip on your shoulder, eventually people realize it, right? So it's really refreshing to talk to somebody like you, man, and is out here trying to do a good thing. And uh, your product's awesome. Your product's amazing. It solves a phenomenal issue, but you're also a good person, and that's an even better thing. That's like a win-win all around. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it. Yeah, we, nowhere as good as you want to be. You always see yourself in the areas that you lack and things that you should be doing better, and where you should be focusing more. Like, you just see your weaknesses, right? You never, so I appreciate that. So, I try to do my best. I try to just be genuine, man. Be nice to people. Some people are douchebags, and if that's so, then that sometimes they need to be treated that way. But for the most part, it's like, I know I'm not going to sell one to everybody. I don't want to sell anything to anybody. I'm going to show you what we have. If you like it, cool. If you don't, cool. You don't need to shit on it. You don't need to tell me why it sucks. Like, we could just agree that you don't want it, and I'll agree that it's cool and it's all good. We could have a beer and whatever, still hunt together, and you carry your bow and I won't. Like, it really, like, that for me, that was a huge part of I think maturing within the industry, because at the beginning, oh dude, it was frustrating. It was kind of off the topic, but I would be at the trade shows, the 3D shoots, and you just get these guys who walk by, like, and you could tell already, like, they're coming by and like, this dude's a douchebag. But you have to you have to sell, like, right? You have to show these people your product. And so I was like, hey man, let me show you what we got here. Let me show you. Have you heard of the BowHitch? And they just walk by, and I'm like, oh, you mother. So, dude, and it would get me so mad, like, just so mad. And so finally, I don't know what sort of epiphany happened, but it was kind of like, dude, you're not gonna sell it to everybody. I'm sure it wasn't me coming up with it. This was wisdom from somebody else. Like, you're not gonna sell to everybody. You don't need to. Like, that's not your intent. You're gonna find your tribe. You're gonna find your people who believe in your product, and they'll make it all work for you. Like, the people who want it are the people who you want to have it. And so I've just taken that approach. Is like, dude, if you like it, cool. If you don't, cool. You come to New Mexico, hit me up. Like, I'm like, we could still be friends. I really honestly don't care if you have or don't have a BowHitch. Like, so that's been a freeing thing for me. So if there's an entrepreneur out there who's listening to this, who is pushing their product, like, when the time is right, those people will come back sometimes. And I didn't understand this. Sometimes people need touches, as they call it. Like, they need to touch your product, or quote unquote see your product 5 to 7 to 10, depending on your price point. How many times before they say, this is for me? Let me hit some reviews. Let me Google it. Let me YouTube it. Let me Amazon it. Let me Yelp it. Like, and I do the same thing. Like, I don't know, do these floor mats like suck, or are they pretty legit? So I will look around for a while to find out if these floor mats for my new truck are gonna work, or do they suck? Like, and it's fair. It's a very fair thing, and it's a benefit we have with social media and the internet. Like, do your research, and I'm good with that. Like, whatever. Like, don't try to sell to everybody is my point. Just believe in your product, show it to people. If they want it, they'll buy it. But if they don't, then so be it.
Comes
Yeah,
back to the patience thing, man.
Yeah, that P
Yeah.
word.
yeah. I like a couple things you said there, man. I say it all the time on our side of things, but I say we can't be everything to everyone, and that's not our goal, right? If you do that, you're just going to drive yourself crazy.
Yes.
And we're all busy enough as it is, trying to be what we can for the people we want. You know what I mean? But you can't be everything to everyone. So I like that. I like that a lot. And then one of the questions I had written down to ask you, man, is what advice would you give an aspiring inventor in the outdoor space? And you kind of just answered that, and I appreciate that too, because of course there's other people out there who have awesome ideas and want to put it into practice. So that was good practical knowledge to share with those folks, man. And do it, chase it, believe in your product, right?
Yeah, I would let me go on top of that would be go for it.
Yeah.
I just go for it. Like I had no idea, and to this day, my kids are like, "What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Well, I got to do a whatever." Like the first time I did a live, they're like, "What's that?" And so I'm like, "I don't know. I got to go on. Somebody's gonna be on the other end. It's like a phone call that everybody gets to see if they want to see it." They're like, "Well, have you done that?" I'm like, no, but I'll figure it out. You know, like I wrote our provisional patent. Like, had I ever done that? Absolutely not. I didn't even know what it was. Like somebody told me I should probably do it, so I look into it and did it. Like so many things that I've had to do. Have you ever done that? No, like I haven't, but if I
Figure
make
it
a mistake, like the next time it will be less shitty and less shitty, and you just figure it out. Yeah, but you have to go for it, which is the big thing. So if you're sitting on an idea or a thought or a concept, like, hey, give it a shot. Protect yourself with the provisional patent that covers you for the first 12 months, and it gives you a little bit of a grace period. It's not a foolproof thing, but it buys you some time and it lets you really decipher, and put some thought into what it is you're doing. So I would say, if I was thinking of the new thing, I would put a provisional patent on it right away. And if you do something with it, cool. If you don't, no biggie. It costs you $100 or whatever it costs you, but go for it.
I think
Well,
that's that other piece of advice that we talked about, right? Is, dude, toe dipping doesn't get you the win, man. Cannonballs do.
Yes, 1000%, dude. Yeah, we got to hit the bottom, as they say.
yeah, man. I love it. All in kind of guy, my man. Oh man. Well, Armando, we haven't even talked about hunting yet, man. We
Oh,
haven't even
dude,
mentioned it because I ate some tag soup this year too. But what kind of hunts were you going on this past year, and what do you got on the horizon this year?
man, this year I had probably the best tags that I've had in my pocket, and um, so this year I had an archery antelope tag in a good unit in New Mexico. I had a fantastic elk tag in New Mexico, archery. I had a rifle deer tag in New Mexico. That was a really tough unit, but I hunt it and I know how to kill deer in there. Um, and then I had a tag in South Dakota for either sex deer archery in November. So for my first hunt, and before that, my daughter had a off-range oryx tag, and my dad had in October he had a mobility impaired muzzleloader elk tag. So we had some banger tags to get out with. So year started out great. My daughter killed a really good off-range oryx, and I was able to tell that story, on the Hunting Stories podcast, and just a phenomenal long story, like heartwarming, like makes you kind of want to get kind of sick to your stomach, and then like as a father, like you're gonna really appreciate it and probably have two more beers after, like, to calm yourself down because you'll just it pulls on the heartstrings, dude. It's really cool. But her and I had an epic time. Long story short, we killed an oryx, and it was a big, beautiful bull oryx, and on a really hard tag to kill. It was me and her, and we killed him at dusk, and got back to the truck at 4 a.m. My
Wow.
daughter's 13, yeah, and she loved every minute of it, and so did I. Um, And then, so after that, I went archery antelope hunting and I killed a really good goat. I can show it to you.
Yeah, I want to see it. Nice, man.
Yeah. So I killed this with my bow.
Udders, man. What a
Um, he was really, really pretty. And so honestly, I didn't even look at his horns because I was on my way home when I found him and right off of the highway. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I honestly didn't look at him. I saw that there was a buck in the bottom of a draw and I could get to the top of the draw without him ever seeing me. So I made my play and he boogered up. He came up towards me to see what it was, just as their, curiosity always gets them. And I smoked his ass. So I didn't even know what it was because I didn't want to look. I just knew it was the buck. Never looked at him. Had got my rangefinder and so when I walked up to him, I was like, wow, like that's a really pretty antelope. Um, so got to kill him. And then after that, in September, I had an archery elk tag down in the Gila in southwestern New Mexico in a unit that I know pretty well. And and I started working a new job where my daughter was going to school and only have X amount of days off. I still had my deer hunt. I still have this South Dakota hunt. I still had my dad's elk hunt. So I'm trying to budget my days. And long story short, I ran out of days on that hunt. I finally got into them, other side of a pinon and juniper tree from a big old bull just glunking and cows walking by me. And I'm just waiting for him to pop out on either side of the tree to kill him, dude. Like it's the check was signed. I just had to pull it off the checkbook, dude. Like it was a done deal. Screaming like bloody murder. I found him the day before, and the approach that we took the first day was incorrect. So made a new game plan for the next day. Worked out perfectly. Got behind or kind of paralleled him, which is what I had to do. Cutting off distance as cutting distance as he was working to the bedding area. Perfect transition area, flat pinon and juniper before it started to climb up, and the freaking wind switched on me when I was 40 yards away from him, right on the other side, and I had to leave that night. So that was
brutal.
that. Oh my gosh, dude! Like screaming bloody murder. Like we probably saw a couple hundred head of elk. Like I was all covered up, and they were there. There was tons of bulls in there. Like that was gonna be, that would have been a done deal. I know I would have got it done because I still had 4 more days to hunt. But I did. So long story short, I did not kill him. Then I went on my dad's elk hunt. First day, not an elk. I had one bugle. Started calling him in, and then I heard like 7 gunshots, like in between me and him. And so a unit I had never hunted before. Just found some country. My dad is you can't walk too far, so we're taking it nice and easy, and uh, some pretty country, but just couldn't get into any elk, and there was hunters around every corner. So for the second day, I went to a new spot and found the elk. So I found him in the evening, went out the next morning. We had to leave that afternoon. Called him in, dude. Called in 2 different bulls. And this year was the first year that they went to no scopes on the muzzleloader in New Mexico.
Ah,
So, yeah. So, I mean, in the past, I have a Paramount Pro, which is good to as far as you can shoot it. And it was just an amazing weapon. But this year with the open sights, my dad's, getting older. I called in this bull. He's like 60 yards, but he comes into this freaking thicket of oak brush and stands in the middle of it, like perfectly camouflaged. And so I'm like, Dad, he's right there. Like I have him on that big tripod, and I'm pushing the gun to him, and I'm like grabbing his hand and like trying to do this whole deal. And the bull, I could just see him looking at me, like, what's going on over there? And then finally he goes to leave and he just turns and boogers out. And he goes, oh shit, there he was. And I'm like, well, yeah, there he was. He was like right there, like literally 70 yards. I was like, oh. So I called him in, and then I called in another one that was in the trees, but we couldn't get him to come any closer. And my dad was getting kind of tired. So we never had a shooting opportunity at him. But so that was his hunt. Had to come home. After that, we went home back to camp, took a nap, loaded everything up, and came back home. Off to my deer hunt. There's I found a nice whitetail in this area last year, and there's very few whitetail in New Mexico, but they're starting to come into this area. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to hunt this area. I was with two other people, my uncle and cousin. Drop me off here. You guys hunt the backside of this. There'll be deer on that side. I'm going to wait here for that buck. If he's still around, he's going to come because this is the first hunt, and he'll pop up, and I should have a pretty good chance at him. Dude, sure enough, find him. It's dark. Like, it's dark. It's probably 30 minutes before the light's going to come up. Sun's going to be shining in my eyes. So I'm like, okay, I got to kill him before the sun's up. Flat desert country with a little hillside behind me, a little mountain behind me. And so I'm sitting on this perch and I'm glassing, and I'm like, fuck, I find him in this bush. And he's just feeding like literally on the inside of this bush. And so it's too dark for me to make out with my 10 by 42. So I'm like, God, it's kind of dark. So I put him down. I get out my 15s and I put him on the tripod, and I'm looking for him, and I can't find him, and I can't find him, and I can't find him. I'm like, dude, he has to be there. Like, there's no reason for him to move. Like, he is there. Like, I'm convinced myself 1,000,000,000% he's standing in the same bush. I'm just looking at the wrong bush. So I come up and I'm like, okay, I get back to my 42s and I'm like, that's the bush, and I mark it and I make sure like everything's correct, and I get back in the 15s. Like, dude, he's not there. Like, and then a fucking rancher drives by
Oh,
and he comes he has an easement going across the property, which is public that I'm hunting, but it's a locked gate and he has to drive right. Dude, the road, I could see the road is right behind where that buck was standing.
oh no.
So I'm like, oh my gosh. And then the driver gets out and opens the thing. So I'm like, well, he's guiding this hunter. So for sure it's a hunter. It's not a guy checking his cows. And so, dude, I'm sick to my stomach and I'm just glassing as hard as I can. Like, my eyes just want to like bleed. I'm looking so hard. Like, dude, he's in here. He's in here. He's in here. I'm scanning to my right, and there's a fence, and he'd have to cross the road to go to the left. So I had written the left off, pretty much because that's the way he drove from, and he'd have to cross the road to get there. So I'm glassing, I'm glassing. I'm like, dude, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? The guy drives by, never stops. So I'm like, cool, he didn't see him at least. He's still in there somewhere. I look out of the corner of my eye and I see the buck, dude. He's like 10 yards from the fence, about to jump the fence to go to the other side, which is private. So it's a nice whitetail, dude. So I'm like, oh shit. So I put the binos down, get on my gun, and come up, and he's on the other side of the fence.
Oh man.
Oh, dude. So
Oh,
I put my gun down, I get my binos, I get some video of him. He's just a really nice whitetail, especially for New Mexico. So so that was my opportunity at him. Um, and then I had an opportunity I had to come home. I got on another buck the next evening. It just wasn't in the cards for me. So didn't end up killing him. Came home early, and then a few weeks later in November we went to South Dakota, which I had never been. A buddy of mine had access to some property over there, so he said if you get, this private land tag, you can hunt on this place. And so we did. Me and my uncle bought, just the cheap public land, private land only tags, and went out there, saw some giants, um,
mule deer or whitetail?
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 3,800 acres that we had access to, a little bit of break type of river bottom things. Like, for me, never hunting the country, like I needed to have done things different, like knowing now. But it was cool, but everybody got sick at home. So I
Mm.
was already pushing it, number one, by having been on all these other hunts. Like, I probably never should have driven off out of the yard to go on that last hunt. But I was like, what's the opportunity he's going to give me to, hunt this property? And so I justified it to myself and said, you should probably go on this hunt. Like, so, so I did. And it just wasn't meant to be. Everybody got sick. And you know, when I got the call like that, everybody was not doing good. I was like, that's the voice of, you need to come home.
Yeah.
Like, it was the right thing. So I told my uncle, and he goes, let's go, bro. and which is like to have a good hunting partner. Like it was a heaven sent, to drive all that way and to be, set up and see these big old giant deer that we saw, and for him to say, "Cool, bro, let's go, make sure everybody's okay." So that was the end to the season, but on a high note, just because I have that dude in my corner, and that was probably the best trophy was sitting in this area where we just seen like this mega giant whitetail, and he's like, "Cool, bro, let's get out of here," you know. So that's how the season ended. So we killed two out of the what is that, 5 or 6 tags that we had. Um, but that's it.
That's awesome, man. Awesome memories. I love that you do it with your family too. That's all. You can't put a price on good hunting partners, man.
Oh, dude, it's not at all. Not at all. It's a blessing. So when you have somebody like that, like don't take it for granted. Let them know you appreciate them, and you know, uh, go the extra mile to make sure that you're that person for them too. I think is a very important thing to know. Like if they're willing to do that for you, like you had better be willing to do it for that person. So when it's, hey, so and so has whatever, cool, got you. Let's
Yeah,
go.
my random act of kindness for 2024 is I'm going to try and help Justin get his first deer this year.
Oh, dude, yeah, I like the sound of that.
We're going to
Yeah,
make it
I mean,
happen.
I'm excited for him. Like,
He's
what's
gonna
funny is
he's gonna earn
some.
that kindness.
Give me that Maui
Uh,
hunt, Armando.
okay, let's see what we could do. Oh man, yeah. Somebody posted today. It's funny that you said that because uh, the question was, what do you have that nobody else has that you don't feel that you're using to your full potential? But it's like, damn, that's a pretty good question to just post on a Wednesday morning. Like that makes you, think a little bit. Like I wasn't prepared to answer this question. And so I was thinking about it, and I think my gift, you know, is being able to share those first experiences. So, like with Justin, and I think, Carter, when you take him out, like the experience and the knowledge that you have to be able to show somebody a good experience, like will forever change their life, and you will be forever cemented into this person's memory and life, like in a way that like is very unique. So me guiding hunters, like I would prefer to take the rookie. Like give me the dumbest motherfucker on the roster, and we're gonna have a great time because he's gonna be willing and excited to learn, and he's not gonna question everything I want to do, and he's just gonna like if you come in with the right mindset, Justin, like hey, just because shit Randy Newberg says to do this, or because you saw it on 4 different podcasts or YouTube videos or whatever, every situation is so unique that only Carter's experience or only my experience or whoever you're with can dictate the next move. Like people tell me, what do you do in that situation? And a lot of people, and it kind of bugs me to a certain extent, when they say, well, this is the scenario. You're on a hillside and the
Yeah.
bull does this and you hear this. What do you do? And they just answer it with like 100% conviction. And perhaps they've been in that situation and that one setup worked perfectly to do what they're saying they did or what they wanted to do. But like being a realist, right? Like, I mean, in my mind, not even a realist, just in my mind, that one scenario is not going to be the same because the wind is going to be different on your hillside and your bull may have been pressured different. Like, just go with the flow, dude. Like, he can have the best plan to take you out to find a deer in the area that he knows a 99 out of 100 times is going to be there. And the one time you expect it, it's not going to be there. Like, so just take everything with a grain of salt and enjoy it because, like, having somebody going out willing to share that information with you, number one, and genuinely want you to do well is a special thing all on its own. So uh, just that's a beautiful thing that So that got me to thinking like if I had to share one thing that I'm not doing enough, that would be to share that experience, to be like, dude, Justin, we'll go and you're gonna just, you know, you're not gonna want to stop hugging me like at the end of the hunt. Like it's a really cool thing to be like, all right, bro, you gotta go now. Like the part is not that kind of party, dude. Like, but I think that's a super cool thing. Um, so good for you guys to, anybody to take a first time hunter out, like that would be super cool.
Oh, it's the best.
I mean, the way you build that up, no pressure,
Nope.
Carter.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a two-way street. You gotta trust him, number one, but at the same time, like, just because he could literally do everything textbook, everything right, and it still won't work. And that's the beauty of hunting
Yep.
is, I think, I'm a pretty good hunter and I eat tag soup. Like, do I think I'm pretty sure I could have gotten it done on every single one of the tags? Without a doubt. But if you're a pretty good hunter, then a really good hunter probably would have killed in the 3 days that you had. So there's there's that game you can play with yourself too. Like, you're all right. You're at 6.
I love it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Really refreshing to hear. Armando, we're rolling up over an hour here, dude. That flew with you, man. Freaking, I want to hang out with
Cool.
you every day, man. I feel good.
Anytime, bro.
Yeah.
Anytime. I'm really, really happy to be here with you guys and the HLE. Like, you guys have anybody who's listening to this, like, is the tribe, because you don't stumble upon this on accident and be like, let me listen to some guys that want to better themselves and are dedicated to, living healthy and still having a good time, and they like to, you know, catch fish and shoot shit, and like, you're not an extremist. This is the everyday people who make the world go round and who keep people safe. Like, that community is the shit. So thank you for having me and for introducing me to your guys' tribe.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate the kind words, and look forward to the continuing support on each side, man. And hopefully listeners definitely go check out everything you got going on, man. Check out all your products. Check out your website, and where can folks find you on social media?
Right. So our website is thebowhitch.com, soon to be changed to simplysavage.store, which the BowHitch will push us over to simplysavage.store. But that's the web stuff. And then our Instagram and Facebook are at the BowHitch. You have to put the, so it's the BowHitch. And everything, like you said, everything's authentic. You might see something when you log on and you're like, dude, these guys are bums, but that's us, dude. You're on the right page. If you're like, this is amateur hour, then you entered it in right. But I know HLE, you guys have a great for your members, a great discount code. So if for people who are in the know, then you guys will be in the know. You guys log on to thebowhitch.com and order whatever you need to at a hell of a deal. And for everybody else, shoot me a message. Get linked up with HLE, and you guys get yourself that discount as well. Like, we do discounts. We don't do them all the time. Like, there's a time and a place for everything. So if we can help you out in any way, we will. If you have questions, hit me up. The BowHitch doesn't sound like it's something for you, no problem. Buy a hat. our hats are dope.
I'm a big hat guy. I'm gonna get a couple of your hats, man, for
Oh,
sure.
dude, our hats came out absolutely beautiful. Like, they're legit, custom made inside and out, and they're freaking badass. I'll show you one. So this one is they're all polyester. They're like the Salt Mafia hats or melon hats.
Yeah.
But on the inside, we were fortunate enough to design every stitch of this hat. So
Sick.
our logo on the inside says "Stay Ready,"
Nice.
and that's kind of our mentality. This is our camouflage, which is unique to us. There's hidden animals on the inside of that. our logos hidden on the inside of it. So just a cool, fully custom hat that is just ours. It's not a hat with a, something on it. It's pretty cool. So if you're a hat guy, you'll appreciate it.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely, man. So yeah, BowHitch.com, the BowHitch on all them social medias. And I love that you plugged the membership, man. Like our members over here at HLE, they got access to some really good stuff, man. Not just the community. We're going to help you get some good stuff along the way. So I appreciate you
Yeah.
throwing it out there. Nice CTA back at us, man.
Yeah, no, dude, it's like you said, high tides raise all ships. Like if it wasn't for you guys having a good community, we wouldn't be here in touch. So we just want you to get out there and, enjoy your experience, whether that's with us or, without us or whatever. Like just go, you do you.
Love it.
man. I love it. Well, appreciate your time, Armando, and look forward to chatting again, man. And let's make it happen sooner rather than later, but definitely appreciate it. Listeners, as always, we appreciate the hell out of you guys. Go check out the BowHitch. Check out the Hunt Lift Eat team member program. We'd love to hear from y'all. And as always, we appreciate the hell out of you guys. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you back.
Later, brother.